Back with global investor and capitalist Jim Rogers and Columbia University adjunct professor David Buckner. Jim, I want to start with you. You have a forum now to talk to the average American person. What do they do? What do they, because they're not global whatever. What do they do?
The average American has got to start with education of their children and grandchildren. You know, China produces something like 20 or 30 times as many engineers every year as we do in America. We don't teach math. We don't teach science. We teach self-esteem. In Singapore, you have to earn your self-esteem. You're not told about self-esteem. You have to earn it.
It used to be called here in America, Jefferson called it a meritocracy. That's what made us different. You had to earn your own way. David, what does the average person do?
The individual has to inspire innovation. And what I mean by that, there's a couple of things you can do on a small level and on a large level. You've got to put yourself in a position where you're inspiring with children, grandchildren, and others to innovate, to create, because we're not going to be manufacturers anymore.
Right.
America won't be there. So you've got to create entrepreneurship, ideas, and innovation. That second step is you've got to make sure that government officials and policies allow for entrepreneurship, that foster entrepreneurship and don't snuff out the entrepreneurship that in fact we will only live by.
Okay, let me ask you both the same question. I'll start with you, Jim. Do you have faith, because I do, faith in the American people, or if the American people were unleashed, told the truth, and because I think a lot of people are awake now in America, and they're just looking for somebody to tell them the straight truth. If they were told the straight truth, and they were let to solve their own problems, and the government was responsible and lowered the spending dramatically, and lowered the bureaucracy of getting stuff done, do you believe we could turn the corner and turn the country around?
Of course we could. We have many advantages. We're a nation of immigrants. Many foreigners come with their brains and their capital, as has been happening in America for over 100 years. We've got a lot of very smart people. But, Glenn, we've got to stop spending all this money in the government. We're running up gigantic debts. You have to change the tax code to encourage saving and investing instead of huge consumption.
Okay.
Nobody ever got rich consuming. You get rich saving and investing.
They will tell you, the devil's advocate, they will tell you, Jim, that if we stop spending, then the economy stops, because we are I mean, President Bush said, hey, you want to help the country? Go out and spend. That's a nightmare. But they'll say that if you do that, then the economy will stop, and then we're in real trouble, and we have the Great Depression.
Glenn, it defies comprehension to me that people can say the solution to too much debt and too much consumption is more debt and more consumption. I cannot believe that grown-ups can say something like that and expect people to believe them. This is madness. You have to cut spending like an axe, with an axe, draconianly, and you have to change the tax code to encourage us all to save and invest instead of borrow and spend. It's madness.
What are you doing in 2012? I'm just saying we'd like somebody who spoke this language to run. David, the President Bush said, go out and spend.
I have absolute confidence in two things: hunger and knowledge. If people know that spending without receiving, without innovating, without growing is only debt, and not only that, spending other people's money is even worse debt, I know that that will fail. I also know that with hunger comes innovation. So when we look at these failures, you have to look at the fact that when you allow something to dive because it's naturally failing, it will have hunger, and hunger will innovate. You look at every single recession we've had, and following every deep recession has come the boon, the huge upside, because people that are hungry innovate.
Okay, when we come back, final thoughts, and I want to focus on this.